Good rising, family. I'm gonna turn this thing off real quick. Good rising. How's everybody going? How's everything going? How's everyone doing? Figure we spend a little bit of time together this evening, looking at all these events that are going on, and you seeing people just kind of losing their minds out here. Real quick. Shalom, shalom. I'll hook y'all up real quick to this thing here, right quick. Yeah, it's dark. It's nighttime over here where I'm at. Just gonna spend a little time together right quick. Hold on real fast. Hold on, let me turn this off. Man, you see all these things going on? Seeing people just losing it out here, right? You know, I says, hey, we just spending some time together. We're just kind of going through some things together, you know? We don't have to always bringing the stuff out. Sometimes it's just time. It's good just to be able to spend some time together, you know what I'm saying? You know, I was sitting here listening to a little bit of off-grid, listening to a lot of the preppers, listening to a lot of people talking about the news and how things, you know, Russia's starting to blame the UK for a lot of the things that, you know, for blowing up the Nord Stream, for the attack on the bridge. You know, it doesn't really matter who they blame. If it's NATO, it's you attack one, you attack them all. You know what I'm saying? You know, so it doesn't really matter which country does what. You know, you blame one. If you eventually attack one, you're gonna attack them all. You know, we already know how that's gonna go. But as you can see, also a lot of stuff's going on with society over here. You know, you're seeing a lot of things going on with society over here. They're trying to control the narrative with this awakening, and really, they're trying to move us backwards. You know what I'm saying? They're really trying to just move us backwards. They're really trying to move us to, oh, you know, you guys are the Israelites. Yeah, bro, we are so past that. You know, that's something that's just like, come on now. I said that's something that's a given. You guys, and like I said, you really understand the fact that they understand all this stuff. They already know all this stuff. It's nothing new. They're trying to keep you from searching out anything new. You know, I said that's what this has always been about. It's always been about keeping you away from new information, keeping you away from your information, because it was never theirs. You know, it was never theirs in the first place. So it's always about moving backwards, not moving at all. You know, and you can understand, like I said, I'm really seeing how this battle is spiritual. You know, this battle is spiritual. And Brother Slayton K shared something with me. I think he was one of the first black superheroes. His name was Turok. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. I hope I'm saying the name right. If I'm not, please correct me. But Turok was like one of the first black characters, okay, or superheroes or whatever else. And I guess his superpower was his voice. You know, His first superpower, his superpower was using his voice. And I think that that's really saying something about us. I think that's really saying something about us as a people, because as you can see, you know, as we get more knowledge and understanding, and the Most High uses us to bring out this knowledge and understanding, um, you see how it's destroying the other nations. You know what I'm saying? So when you limit our knowledge and understanding, then we don't have a voice. We have nothing to say. We have no understanding, right? So, but now that the Most High has given us our knowledge and understanding back right now, we're getting our voice once again. And now that we have our voice back and we're able to go up and bring this information out again, we're able to, you know, the Most High raises us up to be the leaders that we've been, you know, made to be. Now you're starting to see how that's having an effect worldwide. You're seeing how this is having an effect, you know, in all walks of life. You know, you saw yesterday, I saw there was stampeding and people were going and celebrating Halloween over in South Korea, and they had stampedes where, I don't know, 150, 160 people died, you know, and because, you know, they're out celebrating, you know, their holidays right now, and a bunch of people died. Over in India, man, those suspension bridges, I guess one of the suspension bridges broke, and a bunch of people fell to their death. Hey, great seeing you, Carlos Young. Thank you to the moderators that are here. Appreciate you. A bunch of people died, you know, and like I said, that's just a lot of there's a lot of death. There's just a lot of death everywhere, you know, a lot of death, people dropping dead left and right, you know, and it just shows you, like, you know, the times that we're in. You know, I said it just shows you the times that we're in right now. And as you can see, like, the voice, our voice, like I said, forever, everything was about keeping knowledge and understanding away from us, keeping us quiet, us not having an opportunity to have an opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not allowed to have an opinion. We're not allowed to have a voice. You see what I'm saying? And that's how it's been for such a long time. And now that the Most High is awakening his people, now all of a sudden you're starting to see that with that voice and with that knowledge and with those truths that are coming out, it's now wreaking havoc worldwide. It's wreaking havoc everywhere. You see what I'm saying? And like I said, you know, we don't have to go around arguing with people about who's who. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't got to prove to anybody who I am, who you are, whatever else. You know who's gonna prove that? The Father. The Father is going to prove who we are, because the Father is going to show and prove, just like he did for Elijah. When Elijah was going against the priest of Baal, right? And he was out there confident with it, you know, like, hey, you know what, man? You know what? You guys go first, you know? You guys go out there, cut yourselves, try to get that fire going, you know, go out there and, you know, and show out. All you guys, the more the merrier. The more priests you guys got, the merrier. Go on out there. Take your time, you know, because he knew who he was working with. He knows who he was representing. You know what I'm saying? Great seeing you, Ancient Gardener, you know? So there's no need to sit here and argue about, you know, who is the true seed of this and who's the true seed of that, because the Most High is showing right now who's who. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, Elijah was just mocking, you know, the priests of Baal when they were having their competition, right? And then when he was ready, he's like, you know, hey, get that water all around that, you know, set that up, take your time, whatever else, you know, because he knew, he had faith that the Most High was going to prove him right. You know what I'm saying? And I think that those are things that, like, this society has really worked, you know, us. You got to prove things here. You got to prove everything here. You got to show me the precepts. You got to show me this, and you got to show me that. You got to prove this to me and prove that to me. I'm like, we don't got to prove anything to you. The Most High will prove. The Most High is going to prove who he's dealing with and who he's not dealing with. You see what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's it. I was cracking up because, you know, all these shorts and all this information, a lot of these people are talking about, you know, Kanye and Kyrie, you know, so much. And it's crazy because I saw one clip and Kanye was like, you know, I'm jealous. I'm jealous of you guys because, you know, I don't want to, I want our people to not abort their babies. And I want our people to turn their phones off on Fridays. And I'm jealous because, you know, you guys go to college and you guys, I'm jealous. I'm like, you're jealous. I said, see, that there shows me that there's some ulterior motives going on, because I'm sorry, I'm not jealous of absolutely anyone. Even in our lowest state, even with sickness, even with the curses, even with all the shit we got to deal with, I still know that we are in a much better position than any of these other people. I see them loving life. I see them healthy. I see them enjoying themselves. And I'm like, and I still pity them for a point, a little bit. I said, because I know what's coming. You see what I'm saying? Did the so when I see or hear him say things like, you know, I'm jealous because pretty much he's jealous because they've ascended in this society. I'm like, why would you be jealous of someone? And let me take that back. I don't pity too many people at all at this point. You know what I'm saying? Because the Most High is the one that's left everyone where they're supposed to be. But back to Kanye, when he was talking about how he was jealous of like the things that they do, you know, how, you know, they, you know, their business ventures, they work together and this and that. I was like, that there, like I said, that gives me pause when I hear things like that. Like, I'm jealous because we're not supposed to be in those positions. You see what I'm saying? Like, so when I hear him say things like that, I'm like, are you really sincere? You see what I'm saying? Because was Lazarus jealous of the rich man when they both died? Because we know what's coming. You see what I'm saying? Was Lazarus in Luke 16, was he jealous of the rich man when they both ended up at the end after they both passed away, and the Lazarus was in Abraham's bosom and the rich man was in torments? Was he was he jealous of the rich man? Yeah, hell nah. He goes, you know, I'll deal with whatever sickness I got to deal with. And they said that, you know, like, hey, you know, when you were in life, you had your good things. And Lazarus, you know, was dealing with all the stuff that he was going through. You know, now, you know, he's being comforted, and now you're going through your torments. You know, so it's like, that's kind of like wishing that, hey, you have your good things here, so that when you die, you can have your torments then. You see what I'm saying? Now, that's how we should be looking at it, because we're seeing things from a much different perspective. You see what I'm saying? Like, we're seeing things from an eternal perspective. You know, I said, so he's from an eternal perspective. You see what I'm saying? So yeah. So like I said, when you hear things like that, like, you know, oh, I'm jealous because of the things that they're able to accomplish, and I want my black Jews to be able to do the same thing. I'm like, we did that. We did accomplish many things, but we fell off, and we're going through our cursing. We're in the process of being restored. So, like I said, just when you hear things like that, like I said, that's not even scriptural. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's not even like what he's saying about being, you know, envying, you know, the other nations. We're not supposed to be envying the other nations, even when we're going through, you know, our tough times, or even when we're going through our chastisement. That's all part of it. Just like it talks about in Maccabees, you know, how the Most High chastises his children first. How we got to go through all of this chastisement. We have to go through all of this first. And then, you know, after we go through all of our chastisement, then he redeems us, and he punishes us little by little. This is what I want to say. This is in Second Maccabees. How I've done videos on this before about how the Most High chastises us little by little as we go through. He chastises us and brings us back. We mess up, he chastises us, and then brings us back. But with the other nations, he doesn't do that. He allows them to, build up their sin. They build up their sin for a very long time, and then all of a sudden, it just comes down full force. You know what I'm saying? So when you hear, like I said, that's why when I hear people talking about, he's in the truth, and he's woke, and I was like, stuff that he's saying is not even. I said that's not even scriptural. That doesn't even go with what scripture. And I said, and any novice with the scriptures would easily see straight through that. So I'm like, so what you think is better is that I go through life here, enjoying life like you are, like you guys have been, like the Kanyes and the Kyries and the millionaires and everything else. I said, like, we're supposed to go through life like that, enjoying ourselves and accomplishing all these things here, and forgetting the Most High all the time, through our whole lives, and then dying at the end and then becoming like the rich man in the story of rich man and Lazarus, and going through torments at the end. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's a way, to me, that's like a way that Satan is kind of like tricking people, tricking people into thinking that you can't have your cake and eat it too, just like we talked about in Shepherd of Hermas. In the Shepherd of Hermas, it's like, hey, if you abandon your original state, if you abandon your original home, and then you start following the ways of, following the laws of this land here, you're not going to be able to return back to your home. You see what I'm saying? So that's, like I said, there's a reason why all of these books were not approved. There's a lot of reasons as to why a lot of these books were not canonized, because they don't want you thinking about eternity. Exactly. Great point right there, Gerard Israel. I will move them to jealousy with a foolish nation. Exactly. And that's exactly what they've done. And like I said, we have to think on a much bigger scale. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, you got to understand the other nations they see the awakening, they see the true awakening, and they're still trying their best to have some kind of an influence on it, and they're going to definitely use people that look like us. I says so, and they're going to use people that look like us, and they're going to give like partial truth, or just because Kyrie shares a little bit of something, shares like something from Hebrews to Negroes, doesn't mean all of a sudden, he's woke, he's in the truth and everything else. I said there's a lot more to this walk than just knowing who you are. I've always said that. I said there's way more to this truth than just that. Well, that's what you should be doing with anybody. You take whatever anyone says with a grain of salt. You should take what I say with a grain of salt. You go and research what I say. You go and you study. I've always told people, go study, go research, study to show thyself approved. The Most High, it's an honor for him to hide things, right? And it's up to the kings, to search a thing out. The kings and queens are going to go search things out. I said they have responsibilities to do those kinds of things. It's not just, oh, he said this, so let me just go ahead and go with it, and that's not how it is. I've always told people to go, when that's why I still get these comments, from time to time, not as much. We don't get comments that often, I said, because most of them, it's like, hey, if you don't agree, feel free to go and start your own channel. Feel free to go and teach on your own channel. I said, we're not worried about, trying to prove everything to you. It would take too long, and if the Most High doesn't give it to you, it'd be impossible for us to prove it to you in the first place. You know what I'm saying? It'd be impossible. It's impossible for you to, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Well, Angela Anderson, you don't know, even if, you can't, how do you know that our brothers in the first place? You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to understand, like, you can't just assume just because someone looks like you that they're your brothers. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can pray for them if you want. I'm not saying not to, but just don't be so quick to just throw out the, hey, this is my brother right here. That's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, even people that we're born with, you know, as blood relatives, once you start getting into this truth, you start to realize real quick that um, that many people that we, you know, that you are blood relatives with, you don't have anything in common with anymore. You see what I'm saying? Like, many people that we have grown up with, you know, fathers, mothers, sisters, brothers. I said, you know, we can't assume that they're even our people anymore, because, you know, if they're not in this truth, then we're all walking different paths anyways. You know, I says we're walking different paths anyways. And even, like I said, even when you get into this truth, you know, it's like the Most High starts calling, like He said He's going to do. He's going to call certain people from our nation. Certain people got the Bible, and they got a great understanding of the Bible. Some people have no understanding of the Bible, you know, and then they got left a certain area. The Most High gives some people a great understanding of the scriptures of the Bible. Great. And then He calls, even from that group, He calls another group out and says, okay, I'm going to give you even more. You know, I said, so more separation, you know. So it's like, and now the Most High has given us a lot of information about the subterranean levels, the subterranean world, you know. And something I wanted to share with you guys tonight is, you know, there's some information I shared on Patreon you guys can check out. But the information about fairies and dwarves, it looks like a lot of that information, it deals with a lot of the subterranean world. It deals with, you know, and it's like they wanted to be able to share this information about the subterranean world, but they just can't come out and just tell you. So they kind of hid it under, you know, fairies and dwarfs and elves and stuff like that, and how they, you know, have these underground passages, and they have a subterranean world, and they would come and abduct people and take them to all these different things. I said, so different places. So like I said, now even more information. You know, I said I've had these books for a long time, and they're kind of hard to understand, but once you start to get that understanding about the subterranean world, and then you start to go back and look at other books, and I'm like, oh, okay, now I kind of understand that a little bit more. You know, I said, I mean, like I said, this underground subterranean world is huge. It's absolutely huge, you know. And like I said, it's just, there's so much to this. And as you can see, every time the Most High gives us more knowledge and more understanding, more stuff happens here in this plane. Every time we get more knowledge and understanding, new understanding, you know, the Most High wreck shop more here in this plane. Every single time. You know, I said, so I expect more destruction. I expect everything to get ramped up even more. Now that, you know, Russia went ahead and called out Britain, and the United States is moving nuclear weapons over there closer. So, you know, I said it's twofold. We know they're going to fight each other. And, you know, eventually after they start fighting each other, then they're going to turn their weapons and try to fight against our Father. Fight against the Most High, who's going to crack the skies open. You know, I said, so when you understand that, you know, I say, okay, you know, but there has to be like something that gets things jump-started. You know, there has to be things that gets things jump-started. You know, and the Most High, like I said, He's giving us knowledge, and it's really easy to revert back to what is comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like talking about Kyrie and Kanye and whatever else, that stuff is, like I said, those are softball questions. Those are softball topics. I could talk about that kind of stuff all day, every day. Could pull out scriptures, could go through all that stuff, like no problem. But the Most High has given us other information that isn't, you know, hey, it's difficult. It's difficult subject matter. It's not easy, and you really have to depend on the Most High to kind of walk you through everything. I said, because you're not seeing other people going into these kinds of topics. I said, so it's not like you can kind of like, oh, okay, well, let me see what this person's saying about it. Let me see what this person's kind of saying about it, so I can kind of see, you know, I can get some more understanding. You know, I said, you're totally dependent upon the Most High. You're totally dependent upon Him connecting this book and this information with that information, okay, opening up your eyes to this and open up your eyes to that. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, if you need like a topic, then they kind of give you some easy stuff to kind of talk about. You see what I'm saying? You're reacting to things that they're saying. You see what I'm saying? Like I said, when Kanye was saying, I'm jealous of this that they have, and I'm jealous of that they have. I'm like, why would we be jealous? Everything here is ours. You see what I'm saying? Everything that is here and in this plane, okay, is going to be given back to us. Okay, everything that they have was taken from us in the first place. I said the way that they live, the way that they conduct themselves, the way that they work together, all of that stuff was the way we used to work. But once we fell off, they assumed our position. And hey, what's more important, that you know the truth, or that you try to force that truth down everybody else's throat? I was like, bro, you don't have to know it now. If the Most High doesn't want you to know it right now, I mean, hey, that's the Most High's will. You know what I'm saying? I said, I'm happy that the Most High, and just remember that from the Odes of Solomon. Thank the Most High that He did not leave you to fall into the hands of the deceivers. You see what I'm saying? Like, thank the Most High that He chose to not let you fall into the hands of the deceivers. You see what I'm saying? Thank the Most High that He chose that He was going to save you from falling into the hands of the deceivers. It says, and all praises to the Most High. I said, we're the ones that have to believe. We're the ones that have to have faith in the Most High. We're the ones that have to believe that what He's telling us is the truth. I said, and we're swinging our swords every single day by bringing out this truth. We are in a battle every single day, and our battle is what we're saying. We're like Turok, we're in that battle with our things that we say, things in our minds, things that we pray for. That's the battle every single day. And see, that's why they always try their best to control everything that we would think. You see what I'm saying? They would do that. They go out of their way to control everything that we thought, how we think, how we process. You see what I'm saying? And when you understand that, then you understand, you understand the battle. I said, we've been so programmed to think about the physical part of the battle, and we rarely think about the spiritual part of the battle. I said, I've just noticed that for the last couple of years, every time the Most High has blessed us with more knowledge and understanding, things fall apart for the world. Things fall apart for the Gentiles. I don't know if your family have seen the same thing. I said, I'm not saying it like, but hold on. Every time the Most High gives us more knowledge and understanding, and we go with it, and we pray about it, and we learn more things about it, and we start to get more understanding, everything else around us starts to fall apart more and more. You see what I'm saying? Things fall apart more and more for them every single day. I was listening to Off Grid. He was talking about how, like, news has been slow for the last 3 or 4 days. That the website that they get a lot of their information from hasn't really been putting out a lot of information. And you see, that's kind of like when you're reactionary, you don't really have much else to talk about. You see what I'm saying? I says, when you are dealing with the Most High, trust me, many of the things that I come up with, the Most High gives me. It's not, I'm just so smart and I just figured this stuff out. You know what I'm saying? I said, it's the Most High is like, okay, it's time for this. Start bringing this out. It's time for that. Start bringing it. I'm like, well, Most High, no one else is talking about this. I don't really understand that. I don't care. You bring it out. I'll give you what you need. Sometimes I'll do a video and my wife was like, you really put that video together really well. I said, that wasn't me. I said, I just kind of took the pictures, put them in order. I said, I understood a little bit of it, but when I started to do the video, things that were there I didn't see when I was reading it the first time started to jump out because the Most High was putting the video together. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, that's what happens when you're dealing with the Most High and you're dealing with the Holy Spirit. They will give you what they want you to bring out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not dependent upon a website to give me material to talk about, because we're the leaders. We're not the followers. You see what I'm saying? I don't gotta, talk about white Jesus every single time and how he's going to save us. And all you gotta do is pray to him. And, I said, we can do that all the time too. We can get down with the scriptures. And we're gonna be getting down with Psalms of Solomon. Because like I said, the more you start going into these other books that they have not canonized, there's stuff in there about the subterranean world. I was like, I can't believe this is in here. Stuff that's happening today, Psalms of Solomon. He talked about it. I said, there's certain things you can just bring out. I got stuff I could talk about all the time. I said, because it's the Most High who just, you need to read this again. You need to go back and check this part out again. You need to go back and, revisit this. You need to go back and revisit that. And all of a sudden you start to look at it and it's like, damn, I didn't see that before. Wow, thank you, Most High. Wow, I didn't see that before. Thank you, Most High. I said, there's so much in the Psalms of Solomon. Now you're going to see why they kept it out. Just like the Odes of Solomon. I'm like, this man was, supposedly the smartest man, the wisest man that ever lived. And you're trying to tell me he only has a couple of books they've approved in the Bible? That makes absolutely no sense. So we know what it was that, hey, the Gentiles were like, yeah, no, they cannot have this. I says, hey, if they want to go and search for it later on, more power to them. But I am not going to give them, I'm not just going to give them this book. I said, if they want to go and, I'm going to make it hella hard. I'm going to make it very difficult, for them. But hey, if one of them is smart enough to go in here and read this book and figure this stuff out, more power to them. But I ain't going to make it easy for them. I'm going to make it hella difficult. And that's exactly what they do, They're gonna make it hella difficult, and that's exactly what they've done. I said, the Old Testament pseudepigrapha book is hella thick. It's bigger, it's as big as the Bible. And there's 2 volumes. So you got all this information in these 2 volumes. You got the Testament of the 12, and you got all 12 of them being told what's gonna be happening with each of their tribes in the last days. I said, so we can go through and just look at the things that was told to them by their father and on his deathbed, and you're going to see things that are happening today to them. I said, so like I said, that's how you see how, you can see how the Most High works. That's why I still, I got brothers who only deal with canonized books and whatever else, which is, if that's what the Most High has you doing, cool. I said, but when you start getting into these other books and they start proving what you're seeing going on right now, I said, you can't just discount the information. You just can't discount it. I said, you started seeing the stuff I was bringing out yesterday, the Most High had me bring out yesterday. I said, it was fitting exactly with what's going on right now. And I said, you went to Maccabees, you go to, Old Testament pseudepigrapha books, you go to the Odes of Solomon, you start going into the Shepherd of Hermas. That Shepherd of Hermas, I'll tell you, man, that stuff is straight money. I said, that stuff is just, it's right there. And that's the thing, when you start to read and you start to read, and it starts when you start to, just like when we first got into the truth. Remember, when some of us, I didn't like to read when I was in college and I was in high school. Man, if I got through college, I didn't read. I didn't read that much. I read enough to get by, but I was not an avid reader or whatever else. Okay, even still, I read, but it's mostly, I say, it's just Most High leads me to certain information. I read and study because I love to do it now. I said, because you know what? I see our family in a lot of these stories. I see our family in all of these stories, which then, gives you, it gives you like a different kind of a motivation when you're reading and studying. When you realize, when you start to see your family in these books, when you start to see your family, you know, in the stories with these fairies and in the underground world and the technology and the things like that, and you start looking at the movies and you start to see, you know, oh, Black Adam, that makes, okay, that makes sense. You start looking at Black Panther 2, you know, and you start looking at Kukulkan, you know, and stuff like that. And I'm like, you know, that's us. You know, I said, I heard people saying, oh, well, it wasn't Atlantis, but it was some other fictional city that they came up with, but it was based off of the Mayan culture. And we're like, bruh, we already know that the Mayan culture was probably a colony of Atlantis in the first place. You see what I'm saying? Like, but see, if you don't read other books and you don't get other understanding, you won't realize, you won't make connections between Atlantis and the Mayans and the Aztecs and things like that. You know, all these places were connected because, you know, they had underground tunnels that would get to, you know, go to these different areas. You see what I'm saying? Like, I mean, but see, that's what happens that's why the Most High gives us this information first, so that when we go watch these movies, we're going to see right through them. We're going to see right through the hijacks and the things that they try to put out that throws us off. You know what I'm saying? Because before we'd have Gentiles saying, oh, yeah, that place is a fictional place. Turok or whatever place they're going to call where Kukulkan comes from, or Nimar comes from. Oh, that's a fictional place. That's not real. Man, I said, you guys have said that about so many different things. Things you can't describe isn't true, isn't real. You know, even though we're sitting here looking at the pyramids, you know, in all these different places, you're still telling us that these places aren't real. This stuff isn't true. This technology is not real. Stuff like that. That's why we don't waste our time trying to prove things to you anymore, because apparently anything to you is not real. Everything to you is fake. You know, I say exactly. Yeah, we are definitely woke now, and we're not dependent upon other people, you know, to give us validation anymore. Hold on real fast. It's gonna be with you guys for a little bit longer. But, you know, when you're not dealing, it's not necessary to have validation from the other nations anymore. Things are much different now, you know. Things are much different. Hold on. Right? Can't even deal with the Olmec heads. Exactly. Only show parts of the Olmec heads and stuff like that. And this is the information that we have. I mean, just imagine, like I said, we know that the Most High is eventually going to give us more. He's going to give us the information that has been hidden, not only from us, but also hidden from the Gentiles. Because understand, the Gentiles don't have all of our records. You know, the Gentiles don't have all of our records. There's plenty of records that they have not been able to get their hands on, that the Most High has kept away from them, that he's going to give back to his people when it's time. You know, when you got to understand that. Yeah, you're talking about Eden actually being inside of the earth. You know, so like I said, you know, and that's why, like, you start to see with the Gentiles, they're very reactionary. You know, they had to, in prophecy right now, here at the end, everything is, like I said, they're revolving around news articles and things that they're being released and being told. Said because they're not dealing with the Spirit. The Spirit's going to bring out information before others even get a handle on it. You know, I said they're going to give, like, prophecy. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've been talking about the X, you know, that's over here in the Americas for years now. Most High gave us understanding about the fourth part over here in the Americas, and Revelation 6 and 8, and how that's actually was fulfilled with Columbus and coming over here. You don't hear Gentiles talking about that kind of stuff. You know, I said, so like I said, and then he started getting into other books, and Most High giving us more knowledge and understanding. Talking about Joel 2, talking about them getting swept off the land. I talked about that years ago, and now you're seeing it work out today. You're seeing it coming, coming now with them moving all this military equipment out of here every day. You see what I'm saying? Like this is the Most High giving us knowledge and understanding, and giving us it before others, to prove his point, to prove who he's dealing with, and that's what we're dealing. That's why I said it's not important. It's not necessary for us to try to prove who we are to other people. You see what I'm saying? Because the Most High is going to do that. The Most High is going to show you who has the light, who he's dealing with, who he's giving knowledge and understanding to. Like I said, I'm going to try to bring out more information about, like I said, the fairies and stuff that they're talking about. They're talking about the Negroes being in all these different areas over in the Philippines, Malaysia, these supposed dwarfs, which is funny because they first try to say that these dwarfs were from Africa. It was a tribe in Africa that were dwarfs. But then, I said, so it's because they're always trying to connect us with Africa. But then they talk about the dwarf of Uxmal. And the dwarf of Uxmal actually built that pyramid. And that was actually the whole storyline was about the dwarf in Uxmal who had like magical powers. So that dwarf wasn't from Africa. That dwarf was in South America. That dwarf was in Mayax, or what you call now Mayan. Moon Nagasaki's, yeah? So, so like I said, so them always trying to force us to be African, and that's something they're always doing. See, it's okay for everyone else to have a history, okay? But we don't have a history, according to them. We're just black people. And our history, connects with just slavery in Africa, and that's it. No one has a problem with that. Like that's just okay. Even though it's not true, you can't prove it. You can't prove that all of us came over here on slave ships. You can't prove that. There's no way. How would you eat? Like I said, if you put that many people on a slave ship, where would you put all the water? Where would you put all the food to sustain that many people for 90 days? How is it possible for you to move that many people? And that, I said, so you can't even prove that, but you guys still push that we're all just African Americans, even though that term was made up in 1988. It's a new term. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we have to just assume that we have to just accept what you call us. We're black, but none of us black. Ain't none of us just a color and a crayon box. You see what I'm saying? Exactly. It was made up by Jesse Jackson, who's still someone else who is just part of the system, who just being used to throw us off. You see what I'm saying? So it's okay for us to not have a history. It's okay for us to not know where we came from. You know what I'm saying? No one else has to prove where they came from. No, I said, there's other groups of people. I said, I'm not going to get on just one group. I said, because trust me, I said, there are other groups of people all over this world who have assumed our identity as well. You see what I'm saying? I said, we were the original Irish. We were the original Britons. Okay? We were also in those lands as well. We were over there in what you call Spain today. Okay? We were in all those lands. We were the original Celts. We were the ones who taught all these different groups. You see what I'm saying? Pythagoras and all these guys learned from they learned from the Druids. Okay? If you go to, let me plug my phone in. If you go to Acts 29, you see where Paul was meeting with the Druids, and he admitted that the Druids were his brothers. So they were also priests, that they were the Levite priests. You see what I'm saying? So there's all this other information, and the only way, that you could everyone else does is just ignore the information. because it's way too much information to go into and to try, and exactly, the Chinese too. I said it's too much information for them to try to debunk. Just like, we just did those few videos, from the blue man, that video that we shared about the blue gods. I mean, and green. I mean, that video was absolutely awesome. Talking about the blue man, talking about them being the Negroes, and then you start looking at the Shaolin Temple. You start looking at the pictures of our people that are on the walls there. So these Asians, I said they know who were the original people. The Mongols, who actually, there were so-called black people with the Mongols too. So they said they know. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, but we are not allowed to be anything but black. You see what I'm saying? That's all that we are. We're nothing but black people. That's all that we are, according to them. And if we talk about anything else, I says we're the problem. Carlos, it's in the community section. You check it out. It's got a picture of the Avatar. Like I said, that was one of the best videos I've seen, because, like I said, a lot of movies. I've been watching King Arthur. You start looking at the Woad warriors. You're talking about they're painting themselves, blue. And we know that blue is just, they're talking about Negroes. I said, so it's just so much information out there now. Talking about the Celts and or the Celts, and I said we've gone over that information. We can go over it even more, how they rewrote history, and they rewrote us out of history. The Hulk, exactly. Start making those connections about the Hulk and being green. But like I said, it's okay as long as we're just black people. As long as we don't have anything else to say, we don't have a history and whatever else, that's cool. No one's got to prove that, hey, the people that you keep saying are the natives here today, no one's got to prove that those are the only ones. They're the only ones that have been here the whole time. I said, even though we go into these pictures in these pyramids and they show a whole lot of black people, so-called black people, on the walls of the pyramids we can see. You imagine what's in the pyramids we can't see. You imagine, you can understand, the Most High has covered up a bunch of these pyramids. They're in these, they're in these forests. I'm sure the Most High has these forests to keep the other nations out of these pyramids as well. What do you think is going to happen when the Most High clears those forests up and allows us to go back into our pyramids? And we start to see what's really on there and what's really in there. You see what I'm saying? You just imagine. And some of these books, it talks about these cities where they would not allow the Gentiles to go into. And if those cities are there today, even like in Mexico, that these natives still have these cities and they don't allow the Gentiles to go into them. And now we're seeing information about, the subterranean levels, and how they got a lot of our treasures all in there. As I'm saying, just imagine what we're in store for. Yeah, exactly. Most High gonna bring out real history. Just imagine. I mean, I'm just looking forward to what the Most High is about to bring. We are just scratching the surface. I feel that learning is something that's going to be happening forever. We're always going to be able to learn. We're always going to be able to grow. I said we're in these, in these bodies that we have, we're very limited as to what we can process and what we can learn. Just imagine what the Most High is going to give to us when we return back to the spirit world. And that's why, you start to see, I'm seeing so much movement, and I see the movement predicated on our awakening. Not just with, the basic information that we were getting, but the new information the Most High gives us. I said, as He gives us more information, I see more movement by the Most High. So I know if, we got over 1,000 people already here, a lot of you guys are in, in this truth. Pray to the Most High. Pray for more understanding. Pray to the Most High, to continue to move for us. I said, because that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing the Most High moving. I have faith. I think, I've seen that, like when the Most High sees that you have faith in Him, and you have faith that he's going to move. You know, I said that's why he has to give us this knowledge, understanding, so you can have faith that this is the truth. You can have faith that this is your history. That you can have faith that, you know, what the Most High says he's going to do, you have faith that he's going to do it. You see what I'm saying? Like 1,000 people is worth how many, you know, people that don't believe? You see what I'm saying? Like 1,000 people can be worth hundreds of thousands of people that don't believe. You know, I said the world is full of people that have vomited up their wisdom and knowledge. You know, I totally went just from that video yesterday. I mean, I was out information. I've read it before, but it really kicked in yesterday. When it's like, when you go to church and you say, I believe in you, Jesus. You know, I believe you came here and died for my sins. And, you know, you start to believe all that BS. You have to pretty much spit up your wisdom and knowledge, because you can't be thinking for yourself. You can't be thinking that that's all I have to do. My ancestors did all these horrible and heinous things, and all I got to do is just believe in Jesus. You know what? If this is true, then I can't do any research. You see what I'm saying? I really can't do any. I can't read. I can't do any research, because as soon as I start doing any research and reading, I'm going to start to realize real quick that makes no sense. I'm going to realize real quick that makes no sense. Hold on. Isn't this the same picture that we use to enslave these people? Isn't this the same picture that we walked around and, you know, we used for justification to rape their wives and rape their children and rape the men? Isn't this the same picture that we use to justify stealing their land and making them work on it? Isn't this the same picture that we use to justify pretty much that they were not even, they're 3/5 of a man, and that the Constitution wasn't for them and they don't have any rights? This is the same picture that we use for that, right? So how can that same picture, you know, that same guy represent everyone going to heaven and all of us, you know, saying kumbaya? No one has to pay for anything here. You see what I'm saying? Like, only way you can believe that is if you vomit up your knowledge, vomit up your wisdom, and you agree to not do any research, agree not to read, agree to just listen to whatever your pastor and your priest says. Because there's no way that you could believe that you're going to get out of what your ancestors did when it says that you're going to have to pay for the sins of your father all over the scriptures. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, so all that stuff in the Bible that you hear these Israelites saying about us having to pay for the sins of our father, that's not true. But I mean, I love the Bible. I say it's the inerrant word of God, but then they're reading all this stuff that I've never heard of before. They're reading all these scriptures that my pastors never showed me before. So what am I supposed to do with it? I mean, they're showing me way more scriptures than the pastor shows me. Pastor just reads 1 or 2 scriptures, and then he just talks for an hour and tells me some jokes. I said, these Israelites, man, they're sharp. They got scriptures. I mean, if I listen to a video for like 30, 45 minutes, I probably got 30, 40 scriptures, you know, during that time. If I go to church for an hour or 2 hours, I might hear 2 in a church. So who's telling the truth? You see what I'm saying? Like, you know, they tell me to prove that the Gentiles get to make that they can what is it? That they get to canonize the Bible. I can't find a scripture where it says that the Gentiles can canonize the Bible, can decide which books are good and which ones aren't. But they can show me in Psalms 147, 19, and 20 that the Bible is only given to them. You see what I'm saying? So it's like the only way that you can believe the BS that you've been told by your churches, your pastors, and your priests is if you vomit up your knowledge and your wisdom. Because you really can't be thinking. That's why, you know, instead of going after what we say, they go after us as a people. Because they can't prove anything that we say wrong. And that's what I said. So allow them to enjoy whatever little bit of heaven they got left. Allow them to go, hey, bro, if that's what you want to believe, go right ahead. I said, you'll get it eventually. You'll see it eventually. Most High will show it to you later. I'm not your cup of tea right now, apparently. What we're bringing out isn't for you, and it's not your cup of tea right now. So go do you. Go enjoy your little bit of time left, and go have a good time with it. You know what I'm saying? Go have a good time with it. Enjoy it. Because like I said, it's not just one group of people that has assumed our identity, and I think that's part of this whole, screwed up way of our thinking. We think it's just one group of people that's assumed our identity. It's everybody. Nobody wants to be Esau. No one wants to be Moab. No one wants to be any of these other nations. Okay, that's why they changed all the names. You see what I'm saying? That's why they changed all the names, because nobody wants to be that guy. Okay? So understand that. So I'm like, okay, that's cool, man. Hey, I get you, man. Don't worry. You'll get it eventually. I said, but you can tell who we are by what we go through. And now you're gonna know who we are by how we're being used by the Most High to bring truth and to be a light to the world. So now you're gonna know who we are. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, it's not worth arguing. It's not worth trying to get you to understand or whatever else. I said, because that's not my job. It's not my job to get you to understand. Something I had to learn, but the Most High gave it to me eventually. Hey, Judah, it's not your job to make them understand. You just bring the information out. The ones that are supposed to get it, the Most High will make sure they get it. We'll be there for we are here for the ones that want to chase the Most High. We're here for the ones that the Most High is calling. If the Most High is not calling you, there's nothing we can do. Exactly. The arguing is played out. So like I said, Kanye can say what he wants to say. Candace Owens can say whatever she wants to say. The people in the news can say whatever they want to say. The Most High is going to be right at the end. The Most High is going to be the one that's going to tell the truth, and he's going to be the one to expose all the lies at the end. There has to be truth spread in the world for people to deny it. You see what I'm saying? There's got to be truth out here for people to deny it, so that the Most High can show them the error of their ways. But what I tell people all the time, don't worry about what I say. If you don't agree with it, go prove it wrong. And you better not try to just go prove it wrong with a Google search. I says, I don't give my opinion. My opinion means nothing. Okay? I show you what's been written. I show you what's been written in the scriptures. I show you what's been written, hundreds of years ago that they've taken out. I show you what's been written in other books, because the Most High brings that information to us as a family, and we're all working on this together. This is a family affair, I says, now what you do with it is up to you. I can't, it is what it is. We're getting into information about, possibly aliens, we don't know. I says, we don't know what's inside the earth and what's going to come out and whatever else. I said, but we got to be willing to search and be willing to go and look for certain things. We got to be willing to look and get on, look under these rocks, look under this, look under that, see what else is there. You can't just sit there and say no when you haven't even looked at it. I said, and if your research is a Google search, I says, and then, I said, then you're still going to stay in the same area where you're at right now. I said, because, Google set up. You've seen videos about how they set up Google to give you certain information, certain hits, certain things like that, because they want you to think a certain way. So there's plenty of videos for you to go back and check out. Got the website at bigjudah.com. You can check out books right there as well. There's other ways that you can get other PDFs. You can check out information and look it up yourself, and read it yourself. I said, so ultimately, it's up to you. What you do with the information is up to you. I says, we are showing you love. I says, I think people's definitions of love, are very tainted. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Most High took away our knowledge and understanding. I says, and that destroyed us as a people. The Most High is showing us love by restoring the knowledge and understanding that he had given to us before. Now, we are being raised up and we're showing you love, Gentiles. Okay, and other Israelites that might be not, having. I said, we're showing you love because you are now realizing that just like we were lied to, you've been lied to. And you can't go back to the same people. You can't go back to the priests and the pastors to tell you the truth. So now the Most High is using us to show you love by sharing knowledge and understanding. I don't hate anyone. Okay? I don't have time for that. I don't hate anyone. Most High gives me knowledge and understanding. I share it with you. Most High gives us opportunity to show you love before destruction comes. I would be pissed at my pastor and my priest if you're at this point of history and they're still not telling you anything new. They're still giving you the same played out messages. They're not giving you any new information, not giving you any new understanding. And they're going to lead you to destruction because they're going to be destroyed. They're not showing you love at all. But you think they're showing you love because they dress nice on Sunday. They give you a little Our Father. They bless you. They put some holy water on you. They speak really nice. They speak real cool. And they make you feel really good when you go in there and you feel really nice and you feel like, the pastor did such a great job, the priest did such a great job, and you leave dumber than when you got there. But you'll say, they showed me love. They're loving because of the way that they talk to you. I says, but they're showing you nothing. They're not showing you any love because they're not telling you the truth. So like I said, you might not like the way that we maybe bring things out or whatever else. I says, but we're showing you love. I says, we prove all things, And I said, so that's what we're trying to do here. So it's beautiful to see so many people here right now. It's beautiful to see so many people. I pray that you got something positive out of the time together tonight. I know, like I said, there's a lot of people that are sharing a lot of great information. Go back and check out the chats. Go back and check out what people are putting. Put that information right there. It says we have a lot of sharp brothers and sisters here that share a lot of great ideas and a lot of great information. It would be, it's beneficial for you to take that information and learn from it. Yeah, we know. Well, we know there's some trolls. Hey, always going to be trolls. We understand that. I said always, but thank the Most High, we got the moderators, and they don't take no mess, as you can tell. I said they don't take any mess. Because we don't got time for that. If you didn't want to be here, you shouldn't have came here in the first place. Like I said, we're showing you love. So check out the information. Check out go to the website, check out the books, go and read, go and study. I said you're going to see there's a whole nother world that you know that you've been lied to and it's been hidden from you. You know, I said, there's a whole nother world that you're going to be exposed to. And I said, and you're gonna be, if this is for you, you're gonna be like so amazed at how much you didn't know, and how much the Most High is now bringing out here at the end. And just anticipate more huge events happening this week. I said, because us as a people have been given more information, more knowledge. We're gonna pray to our Father. We're gonna pray that He keeps moving. And you're going to pray that He keeps on restoring us as a people, you know, and we're going to watch Him work. All praise is the Most High Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother. Who is wisdom? Who is the Holy Spirit? Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. Shalom, family.